Hi there, Ben here from moveyourmath.com. Going to do a video about using the formula for quadratic equations. It's a really common topic. It crops up in lots of different math courses, so I thought I'd try and help you out with it. I'm going to show you the 4 key rules to succeeding with this formula. And here is the formula. If you're solving an equation in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, that's just what a quadratic equation looks like. You use the formula x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And the first thing to notice about this formula is that plus or minus. All that is a shorthand for saying you're going to get 2 solutions. Here they are. You get one when you use the plus and one when you use the minus. So you're usually looking for 2 solutions here. Okay, rule 1. Go slowly, one little bit at a time. I'm going to show you what I mean by that by doing an example. Here it is, 5x squared plus 17x plus 6 equals 0. So let's look at that here, something that I can write on. And we figured out here already that the form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, and so that means that a is just 5, b is just 17, and c is just 6. So the first job with any quadratic equation that you're going to use the formula for is to figure out from the equation what a, b, and c are. And then all you do is you put a, b, and c into this formula. So we're going to have x equals minus b is minus 17 plus or minus the square root of b squared is just 17 squared minus 4ac minus 4 times 5 times 6 all over 2 times a. So in this case 2 times 5. So I've done no calculation here. That's the crucial thing to notice first of all. I haven't done any calculations. I've just put the numbers in and written them down. And now as I go through, what rule 1, go slowly, means is I'm just going to do 1 or 2 or 3 little sums at a time as I go from line of working to line of working. So I'm just going to do 17 squared, 4 times 5 times 6, and 2 times 5 in this first line of working. So I'm still looking at x is minus 17 plus or minus a big square root of something, and that big square root 17 squared I happen to know is 289. 4 times 5 is 20 times 6 is 120, and I'm dividing all of that by 10. So I've just done 2, 3 little sums. Even though your calculator can probably do this all in one go, I really don't want you to do that. I want you to do this a little bit at a time for 2 reasons. The first reason and most important reason is you're much less likely to make mistakes. The second reason is as you go through, you will learn the structure of the formula by doing each little bit of the formula as you go along. So let's finish this one off. The only thing I'm going to do here is that 289 minus 120, which I think is 169. All over 10, and I happen to know that the square root of 169 is just 13. I'm still all over 10. And now I can do the plus or minus bit. Now I can split this out into my 2 solutions. So minus 17 plus 13 is minus 4, and minus 17 minus 13 is minus 30. And so to simplify those 2 answers down, I've got minus 2/5 and I've got minus 3. Here that is all written out neatly so that you can see it, and you'll see I've coloured in the individual sums I did one line at a time. So in this first move from here to here, all I did was the 17 squared, the 4 times 5 times 6 and the 2 times 5. In the next move, all I did was 289 minus 120. In the next move, all I did was square root 169. I can't impress enough that the vast majority of mistakes made in this formula are by going too quickly and by trying to do it all at once in one go on your calculator. take a minute and a half that it takes to do each little step at a time, and you're bound to make fewer mistakes. Okay, let's have a look at rule 2. Rule 2 is watch your minus signs. The second most common cause of mistakes in using the quadratic formula is getting your minus signs wrong and not following through the positive and negative arithmetic correctly. So really, really watch them. So here's another example. The equation is 2x squared minus x minus 3 equals 0. So here it is on my electronic board. And this time I've just jumped straight into figuring out what A, B and C are, and clearly A is 2, B is minus 1. There's a phantom 1 in here that we don't ever write down when it's just x on its own. So B is minus 1 and C is minus 3. So now I've got some minus values here and here. And you'll notice up in the formula I've got a minus there, I've got another one there, and I've got one there. So all sorts of positive and negative arithmetic comes into play, and you've got to be really careful with it. So let's stick the numbers in the formula and see what we get. So we're going to get x is minus b is just minus 1 plus or minus the square root of b squared is minus 1 squared minus 4ac is just 4 times 2 times minus 3. And I've got to divide all of that by 2a, which in this case is just 2 times 2. So again, I haven't done any calculations here. I've literally just put the numbers in the formula. And where I've got minus signs, and I'm doing things with other minus signs to them, I've put brackets in. So what am I going to do next? Well, next I'm just going to get rid of as many of the minus signs as I can. So minus 1 is just 1. I've still got my plus or minus, the square root of, well, minus 1 squared is just 1. And be really careful with your calculators. Some calculators, if you don't put the brackets in and you ask it what minus 1 squared is, it will tell you it's minus 1, which is really, really annoying. I hope that you're clear that minus 1 squared is minus 1 times minus 1, which is 1, because a minus times a minus is a plus. Right? So be really careful with that, because some calculators don't get that right these days. So moving on, we've done the minus 1 squared, it's just 1, and we've got to do take away 4 times 2 times minus 3 is 8, lots of minus 3 is minus 24. So we've got minus 24. And we've got to put all of that over 4. And again, I'm just going to take this really slowly. 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 plus 24 all over 4. So it's 1 plus or minus the square root of 25 all over 4, which is just 1 plus or minus 5 all over 4. So it's 1 plus 5 is 6 over 4. 1 minus 5 is minus 4 over 4. So my two answers are 3 over 2 and minus 1. So this rule 2 is watch your minus signs. Notice in this properly written out example, B and C are both negative, so I've got minus B is minus 1. B squared is minus 1 squared. And 4AC is 4 times 2 times minus 3. And I'm really careful each time to just take one little job at a time as I make my way through to my answer. Rule 3. Sometimes you only get one solution. A particular thing can happen with the numbers that means you only get one solution when you run the formula through. So here's an example. And this one, I won't show you on the board, I just show you the answer, so to speak. What happens here, we've got A is 9, B is minus 24, and C is 16. And so we put the numbers into the formula, so we've got minus B is minus 24 again, so you've got to be careful there. Plus or minus the square root of minus 24 squared is B squared is minus 24 squared. And then take away 4AC, 4 times 9 times 16. All of that's over 2A. But what happens, you can see in red, 24 squared is 576. And 4 times 9 times 16 is 576. And that means this thing just disappears. It becomes 0, and the square root of 0 is 0. So your first solution is 24 plus 0 over 18, and your second solution is 24 minus 0 over 18. So in fact, you've kind of got two copies of the same solution, so you only get one solution. In other words, any time that b squared minus 4ac is 0, you're only going to get one solution. Rule 4. Sometimes you don't get any solutions. So here's another example. It's a simple equation. And we've got a equals 5, b equals 7, c equals 4. So what happens when you put that into the formula? Well, we get x is minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times 5, 2a. And so keeping with my plan of only doing one little thing at a time, 7 squared is 49, and 4 times 5 is 20 times 4 is 80, so minus 80 all over 10. And so now I've got minus 7 plus or minus the square root of minus 31 all over 10. And at this point, an alarm bell goes off because this doesn't exist. The square root of minus 31 does not exist. So this equation has no solutions. Rather like in the last example where b squared minus 4ac was equal to 0, in this case we've got b squared minus 4ac is negative. And in normal arithmetic you can't find the square root of a negative number. So this equation has no solutions. There it is written out nicely for you. Again, when we do b squared minus 4ac, we end up with something negative that we're trying to square root, and you can't do that. So the equation has no solutions. Okay, so there are the rules for using the quadratic formula successfully. Go slowly, watch your minus signs, and pay attention for whether you're going to get one solution or no solutions. The only way for you to get better at this is to do some practice. So here are some exercises, and they tick all of those boxes. There's lots of minus signs flying around. Some are going to have solutions, some are going to have no solutions, some are only going to have one solution. So you should now hit pause and run through these exercises. Try and do all of them. And when you unpause, the next slide will show you the answers. So there they are. The middle equation has no solutions. The last equation only has one solution. And the others have got two solutions each. So there you go. That's a video from moveyourmath.com on how to use the formula for quadratic equations.